Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude and Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this Wednesday night edition of the Deep Woo episode, Tarot Reading by Janine. You can find her work at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Jean-Claude. Hi, everybody.
How's it going, Janine?
Really good. I've been keeping a close eye on those truckers.
Truckers? Oh, there's a few fringe. There's a few fringe people. I think there's 100, something like that. CTV was saying,
100,000 maybe.
Oh my God, absolutely crazy. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. We are going to spend some time here, maybe disproportionately, on this news story, but you have to understand that both Janine and I are Canadians, in fact, and this is big, not just for Canada. And I was just talking to Cliff High before the show here too, and he's saying that what happens next here could be a turning point for the whole planet. So it looks like the epicenter of all this could be, in fact, Ottawa. So with that, welcome guys to the show. And let me bring up first order of business here is a survey. I've got this poll running here on my Twitter. I'm going to bring this link back down in the chat for you guys. And please contribute to the poll. Let us know if you support our truckers. Yes, they are heroes. Or no, they're extreme racist and terrorists, I think they were called today in the media. So the link is in the chat now. Please go and click on it and vote. We're going to look at these numbers change throughout the evening. Now, Janine, you did a deep dive on this yesterday on your Sending Ravens. Let me bring that up for the audience here. People can, of course, go watch that episode, but can you recap here exactly what you were looking for? I believe you paid a lot of attention to what the outcome of this could be or what the truckers wanted. So can you share that with the audience? Because there's a lot of confusion. The mainstream media is throwing out all these words like racist and white supremacists and terrorists and blah, blah, blah. Kids are looking up online and are saying, what's going on here? So let's break it down here for the audience here.
That was actually on my Tarot by Janine. I looked into it last night, but the video went up this morning. So it would have looked like it just went up today. But you're right, I did look at it yesterday. So what I got was I asked, are they going to get their desired outcome? And their desired outcome as put forward by them, the organization, they desire either Canadian Mr. T to step down and resign and all of the mandates end, or just all of the mandates end if they can't get him to resign. One way or the other, they want all the mandates ending now. Everything to do with passes, everything to do with segregating parts of the population. That's what they're very much against, it seems, from what I'm reading. But they're not these guys, they're not anti-cures, as I call it, the cure. They're not anti that. Some of them are, majority of them, even in some of the circles, they said a majority of them are already had the cure, or one or two of them. But what they are is anti-segregate the population, turning everybody against each other. They're pro-freedom and anti-mandates because they see that even jumping all those hoops didn't get them anywhere. So that's where they're apparently coming from.
And you also looked into Mr. T, Canada's Mr. T, his office, and what they're going to do with this situation. Explain the limbo they find themselves in.
So it looked like they didn't actually have a clue the first time we looked at it. And of course, they've been throwing out all kinds of things in the meantime, right? So there's they're trying to turn the organizers, so the heads of it. They're trying to say that they're white supremacists and they're, these activists that are, the TERR word, those kind of things. So they're
the scary people.
Scary people, and they're fringe people, and they're all these things. And here they're just everyday family people who, and there, by the way, there's a lot of cars in that convoy that joined in. And now it's over 70 kilometers, 70 kilometers of vehicles. I saw an aerial view and I've been sharing all day long. So if you haven't seen any of the videos, go check it out on all my social medias, Twitter, Telegram, and even Instagram, but it's hard to get stuff up on Instagram. And Facebook, I've been sharing all day. And there's aerial views, and it goes on for miles. Okay, this is unbelievable. It's like changing the whole Canadian perspective. And what I got was what they're really doing according to the universe. So I looked into what does the universe say these guys are up to. It says what they're up to is they're actually going to change Canadians' version of or vision of themselves. So us Canadians can bring some pride back into the country. Yeah, it's going to bring people together. So whether you're cured or not cured, everybody's jumping on board to get these mandates taken away and get that criminal person out of our parliament. I mean, it's the whole thing is a sham and a scam, and so they're just calling it out. And there's so many people on the sidelines waving. It couldn't possibly be just a fringe. Because there's entire families out there. They're on, in every town that they know they're coming through. They got a huge reception. People are giving them food.
Yep.
Like everywhere they go, they're being offered places to sleep for their overnight. Yeah, they're being really embraced by the Canadians. So that just can't be true. So of course, they're just trying to smear the organizers' names,
Right. Well, there's that. There's also the fact that they had 5 or 6 million, I believe, total in their GoFundMe campaign. GoFundMe just froze their account yesterday, I believe it was. I tweeted about that. So again, you're seeing the old playbook being used here against them, but yet they're just fringe and they're apparently not welcome in our community. Whereas what we're seeing here is that the communities are welcoming them in their communities as they go by, but they're also joining the convoy, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, today there was some. And I don't want to give too much energy to this, but I want you to pull some cards because I got a lot of emails and a lot of people are saying, are they perhaps walking into a trap? That seems to be the narrative that was being pushed out today. Now, you and I have reported on similar events in the last number of months that we've been doing videos where perhaps agents provocateurs get into the mix here to create FF type of event where it justifies the use of force from officialdom. Let's pull the cards and see if officialdom indeed right now has that as one of their plans or strategies to help address this fringe group here.
Well, they definitely wouldn't put it past them. It's one of the things, but they look like they're kind of at a loss here. This card is fighting for their right to be and or do something a certain way. Okay, but if we put it on the government, so what are they doing? Okay, this is so new to them because they're really unique situation, and they're not sure, so they're poking all these sticks at it, right? So they're white supremacists, but that didn't really go over very big. Okay, now they're fringe. Okay, that's obvious they're not. And now because everybody's got a trucker in the family, or they're related to one, or they know one, or down the street, somebody lives down the street who's a trucker, and everybody knows they're generally pretty good people. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's bad in everybody, but for the most part, right? They keep to themselves, but they just decided they're coming out of their hermitage, right, on the road, and they got to do something about this. Okay, so they don't know what to do with them, and so they're trying all of these different things, right? And they'll just keep trying them. See, with that cup's being offered, they'll keep offering. It's almost like they're putting it out there in the media to see if it grabs on. Nobody's grabbing anything so far. In fact, it's making them look even better. It's making the government look like morons. Okay, because we've got U.S. people, even U.S. government people speaking up for the truckers. There was a Canadian hockey player, I forget his name, a famous one.
Yep.
And he was on Fox News, and he was telling everybody literally exactly what's going on here in Canada and what we've been dealing with. And that was all over the news. Okay, these guys are going to be known as it's making them look better, not worse, what they're doing. So whatever they're doing, and this is what I was getting in the deep dive there or whatever. When I looked at it, it looked like they were going to go a long way to achieving their goals. but of course the government would backtrack and sidestep afterwards. So they might just to get them out of town, because nothing else is going to work, it looks like. So I don't get a big FF situation. Absolutely something they want to do. The government would like nothing better, or the bad guys, but they're not going to be able to do it. I feel like they don't have any kind of backing in the media towards it. Even if they're putting it out, nobody's grabbing it.
The gentleman you're looking for is Theo Fleury. Of course, he was on Fox News earlier today, calling out here, shouting out actually the convoy and calling out the government here for infringing upon the Charter of Rights. We'll get into the Charter of Rights here in a moment. Also, there is another litigation at that front that's very fascinating that I just saw today, tweeted a few minutes ago. Let's go back to our poll, guys. You see the link here on the chat. Just go to my Twitter. Please do fill out that poll here. We're trying to see essentially this audience, if we can move the needle here, because I've seen some polls on CTV here in Canada and another news outlet here in Canada. And I'm curious what we can bring it to with this particular audience. This last one here was from CTV. They were at 77% yes in support, which is still huge compared to the fringe nomenclature that officialdom is trying to attribute to them. So please do go and check that out. My next question for you, Janine. As Cliff is saying in my last tweet or in an email, I forget where it's coming from now, this is perhaps he's quote unquote using the terms Ottawa siege or the siege of Ottawa. Okay. Is this perhaps in fact a catalyst for a huge revolution, global revolution here around the planet? We talked about the effect of bringing Canadians together, but let's pull some more cards here and see if, in fact, this could be a catalyst worldwide.
Oh, you bet. Okay, so these two cards are on either side. So this is the convoy. So they're friendly and being kind to each other. And they're experiencing unbelievable kindness. And so there's generosity. So they're bringing generosity and kindness. They're actually rising the vibration. Think about all the Canadians that said they cried when they watched, and even all over the world, it's bringing tears to people's eyes. There's so much joy. It's the exact opposite of what the dark cult deep state wants. Right? Everybody's all feeling heartfelt. And it's like the truckers are doing a kindness for the world in Canada because they're putting their life on hold, taking their entire families, some of them, on the road for days, and putting their reputation on the line and saying enough. And that's more than most people are doing, right? Absolutely. So they're making a huge example of what can happen when you do that, right? When you just say no to silliness, right? And this card. And they're being met by unbelievable generosity and kindness. People are throwing food at their trucks practically. They said they can't even eat the amount of food that's been prepared for them. Everywhere they go, they're being offered places. There's even this thing called Zello. It's an app, and you can get on it. And so Freedom Convoy, if you look that up on Zello, I got on it, and you can hear them talking back and forth. And you can even put a comment in there, a verbal comment. It's incredible. You can keep up with exactly what they're doing. So they're kind of getting around being taken off Facebook or whatever they're doing to them. They're getting around it. And they're also talking on their CB radios, because don't forget that truckers are independent people. If you're driving like 13, 14 hours a day or however many hours on the road all by yourself, first of all, you're not listening to mainstream media, watching TV all day. You're listening to podcasts. And like you said yourself, Jean-Claude, they're likely listening to, some really cool
To you and me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're listening to things like that. They're not watching mainstream. And they're definitely probably more enlightened than a lot of people about what's going on. They got time to audibly listen.
Yeah.
Audibly. I don't know if I said
And
that right.
also they're not in an office space working 9 to 5, drinking the Kool-Aid and doing what the boss asks. These are, as you said, they're entrepreneurs and they're very much lone wolves. So yes, they are very well informed. Absolutely.
And that was the card in the middle, because you asked, well, how do you put it?
Will they become the spark here worldwide?
So this is the world changes with this card. You come to the end of a plateau and the beginning of a new one. You say goodbye to the old and hello to the new here. This is the end of an era card. We're saying goodbye to the absolute lunacy of what's been going on in all the world. Okay. And they're going to take us through the gateway into some common sense. Give your head a shake, come out of your delirium, people. So I'd say yes.
A big yes. Wow, that's interesting. I'll bring up actually, just as we're still there, let me bring up the exact tweet here. How many millions does it take to cross out the word fringe, quote unquote, yes, and go into effing panic? In his humble opinion, the global rev will take off as a result of the siege of Ottawa. Citizens are advised to make ready to assist the wounded freedom fighters. Let's touch that part here. Again, yes, the government might be in limbo right now. They're probably shitting their pants, deciding what they're going to do with this. But our tension is going to be so hot as to maybe cause a flare-up here that could bring the need for assistance here, as is perhaps indicated between the lines here in this tweet. And thank you to Lakeside Laura. She says, some truckers need to paint I love Janine on their truck. Yes. And we could say absurd also on a truck would be absolutely amazing. Okay, Janine, let's go back to the need for wounded freedom fighters and assistance.
So all around that thought, so I decided intuitively, I did just ask. So the idea of there's going to be an unsafe situation for the truthers. There's going to be a trick to, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a trap. So too many people on board surrender. So they're going to try that, but there's too many 4+. So even if a few things happen, they're so outnumbered. Okay. And also all of those trucks, they stretch across a really long section. Okay. When you see them, they're miles long. So they can't, where are they going to target their little attack? Right? All along 70 kilometers one side, and then coming from the East Coast, they might have another 70 kilometers of trucks. They can't do, how are they going to target that with their little Antifa fighters and or bought and paid for fake soldiers? You know what I mean? How are they going to do? So they have to surrender to the popularity of the thing and the people speak and how many. It's they don't have enough minions to do it.
Right.
They're not going to cause the damage. But there could be some isolated things.
Flare-ups. Yeah,
there could be some isolated stir-ups that hold things up, okay, and put out false information. And somebody might even get hurt. Some people might even get hurt. But these are minor arcana cards, temporary setbacks and holdups. So there could be some, like they could target some of those groups, but really, like when you got a convoy that long, what are you going to do? And
not just that, every single one of them has a cell phone and a camera. If anything happens, we're going to identify very quickly who is behind this. So and of course, please, our hearts go out to all of the truckers. Safety for everyone. Not advocating violence, but this coming together is absolutely amazing. And you remember, you and I talked about the lion speech from an old TV movie with Christopher Walken just last week, where suddenly the lion who's sleeping in the desert and is not bothered by all the animals nipping at his ankle, suddenly decides to tear around and terrorize and show that he's the king of the jungle, so to speak. Well, this is what Fleury was saying in his interview. He says, Canadians are absolutely very polite. They're probably the most polite and nice people on the planet here, as he was reporting this to Fox News. But he said that fuse is very long. But once we're at the end of that fuse, watch out. Canadians are serious also. We're pretty tough. It's pretty cool out here. And we have a tough constitution in our society. So that's very encouraging for everyone. Again, guys, please do go and vote on this poll. Let me see if I can bring that link back down in the chat for you guys again, if you want to click on that.
We also expect people to play nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like for the most part, like just everyday folks, they're nice because they're giving you the benefit of a doubt, but they're actually expecting that niceness to come back their way.
Right.
And
exactly.
that's, I think, if they're not if they got some planted troublemakers, they're going to rout them out right quick because they're not going to tolerate it.
No, okay, let's switch gears here. I've been very frustrated over the last year, I guess predominantly with our pollsters. They keep coming out. It's the same thing over and over. The majority of Canadians agree. The majority of Canadians agree we should jail the unwilling. The majority of Canadians agree we should have a gazillion needles up our ass. And then, I can go on and go on. And I'm like, where's the majority? I'm seeing a majority here, and they don't agree. This is what the convoy is putting in stark comparison here to these pollsters. Now, on top of that, you could say, oh, that's a little bit woo-woo, and that doesn't really count here, JC. Okay, let's look at this one. What do you do with this? The last surviving signatory of the Canadian Charter of Rights is part of a lawsuit right now suing Canada over the unconstitutionality of the mandates. Imagine that. That's in the news right now. I want you to read on this also. Does that make or break maybe some of the sleeping Canadians who apparently all agree with all of this, who realize, wait a second, oh yeah, we have a Charter of Rights here. We have rights. And it's not because the government says so that suddenly we don't have rights. Is this a triggering point also?
By the way, just before I get into that, I've been sending these little videos that I've got all over social media coming from the trucker convoy, and to people that I knew wouldn't know anything about it. Canadians, no clue about it.
Right.
Okay, so I've been sending those and saying, see what your fellow Canadians are doing for you? Seriously? Yeah. And I've gotten some mixed response. Some of them looked up those looked it up on mainstream media and came back with, oh yeah, but those guys are all
they're fringe,
racists.
Yeah, they're racist. Yeah.
So that's obviously making the rounds. Right?
Yeah. Well, there's that, and thank you for bringing that up. There's another piece to that too. There's if you watch the last David Icke interview with Rose, what's his name, London Real, he was explaining that there was 3 categories of people. The acquiescence, which is basically part and parcel responsible for every tyranny situation in our history. Then there are those who see but choose not to fight for whatever reason, of the fear of repercussions and all of that. And then there are the rebels, like the people watching this show, who are saying this far no further, up yours with your mandates. Now, so the people in the middle here, who for the last couple of months were starting to wake up to all of this. I heard a lot of people say, well, I know it's, there's problems over here, but we can't fight this, JC. We can't fight this. Well, what the truckers are showing us is that indeed we can fight this in a peaceful way. But yes, indeed, we can fight this because the power is ours to begin with. And again, that was the message from David Icke. If you haven't seen that video, please do go check that out. Wow. Okay, I'm on fire tonight. Damn pollsters. Okay, let's go back to this story here. Is this also a pivot point, maybe for more of the intellectual class who would follow these types of lawsuits here in Canada, who were on the fence?
You bet, because this would be news to them, and it's coming out from somebody that they would might even respect. So they're not going to think they're fringe. You know what I mean? So it's going to break through. It's going to break through a certain number of people that would otherwise, or maybe the people that would consider themselves, like learned and intelligent and educated people who think the truckers are fringe. You know what I mean? And maybe never actually met a trucker.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely going to go a ways for sure. I think we're like going surging forward in this. I think we got some big wins. I'm not putting down my guard or anything. I'm going to fight till the bitter end, till everything's, these shysters are out of office and the federal government, if there is one, steps forward, and then we, the people, step forward and start deciding for ourselves how we want things to look, all that. Of course, I'm going to be there on those front lines till things get done and cleaned up. But you know what? Yeah, there is, sometimes you do need to celebrate some wins because it'll help, for the fight ahead. So let's celebrate that. I think we got some good wins here.
Absolutely. And what's interesting about what you just said also with this lawsuit pertaining to our Charter of Rights here in Canada, which is quite unique around the world, and it's very powerful if only people respect it. And this is what is being demanded now. This also has another effect, not just waking up the normal populace, but think about all the legislators who are sitting in Parliament, who are sitting in the communes, and then realizing, wait a second, this is the father of the Charter of Rights, one of the original signatories, telling us we're doing a bad job here. Yeah. If they were on the fence or not sure, they're like, wait a second here, that should click for them. And from this point and forward, they have to realize, I might be on the wrong side of history here. And we just saw Saskatchewan here today hint that perhaps they would be the first province to reverse course here. Have you seen the news about that? And if so, what can you share with the audience of your understanding?
I haven't seen that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I heard parts of that. If I have it somewhere. There's a gazillion people emailing me today, but I do have that somewhere. I'll see if I can bring it back on the screen for you guys as I move forward here. I think actually it was this one. Hold on. No. This one. Plan to remove some restriction. Okay, it's this one. Let me see if I can bring that back on the slide deck. Again, guys, I'm like super multitasking. Mo announces plans to remove some restrictions in the next number of days. So there's some buckling happening. Premier Scott Moe, in Saskatchewan. So I think he might be following the lead here of what we saw in the UK. Go ahead, Janine.
So with that, Lovers, like that's a political, so he's going to make a political move, and you might even see some apologizing. Backtracking or talking about, like even I'm thinking a bit of an apology somehow. And it does seem to make some big physical changes in the lives of people around there. So hopefully that includes taking off those face things.
Well, when I read through this the first time earlier today, I'm like, okay, it's not as strong as saying, hey, we're ending everything, but the language seems to suggest that they're saving face to phase that out very quickly here. And this is what we're seeing in other countries around the world. So this is perhaps the first crack here in Canada that might start shaking up the rest of our premiers, because here in Ontario, Mr. Ford said last week, we might ease some restrictions here in the spring, but the mandates for the passport is forever, basically, is what he was saying. So I think he might be having to relook that or revisit that. Also seeing as when this all started, he was adamant, Mr. Ford, that there would be no vaccination or no society here in Ontario. So he's going to have some explaining to do. And somebody's saying, yes, Saskatchewan leading the way and our truckers leading the way. Who knew where all this leadership would come from? That's absolutely fascinating. Okay. What else do I have? Legislators. Okay, we talked about that. Let me go to the PayPal tip jar. You guys are waiting. We're already 30 minutes in. Thank you so much, everyone, for donating and supporting on the show. Let me see if we can log back in. I'll just click that here. And also, I will be turning my attention to the Insider Access Pass Discord. If you give me a moment, I will log into that one as well. This is nice. Okay. You and I have done, I think we did a special investigation show or a Janine show on pay-per-view a couple of months ago on the cross-border stuff in the South, who was perhaps coming, some of the alien DNA that was involved there with some of the hybrids. So Phoebe is asking, first of all, thank you, Phoebe. She says, what happened to the illegals who were let out into the U.S. last year? They are still in play by the dark hats. Are they still in play by the dark hats? Where did they go? Have they been rounded up? Or are they waiting for a strategic moment here to coalesce and maybe attack certain systems of control or of the population?
They're not in control, or the dark hats are not in control of them. They're not in control of them. So there's a justice card on one side of them. That's them in the middle. And this is the good military on the other side. So I think they're being closely monitored. Some of them might have already even been kicked out or taken out, or they're definitely not. Their hands are tied, and or their mission is offline, let's just say. And I think it's because the bad guys are, like, their bosses have been rounded up or are being kept close eye on.
Wow.
And don't forget, when I looked at that border situation, a lot of it was ramped up numbers. Okay. So both sides of this information situation, I'll say, that's going on in the world are ramping up numbers.
Yeah.
Every which way we're getting told fibs. Okay. That's just the way the thing is happening. It's just like that. And so they're ramping those up to, I think, scare people and get people to wake up to just how bad it is over there, right? So they need, like, everything's so exaggerated these days that they have to, I think it's a psychological situation they have to do, or think they have to do, to get people to pay attention. They're not going to pay attention in the news to the real numbers because everything's been so blown out of proportion. So everybody's ramping everything up. So I never did buy that there were bazillion people coming across the border illegally. I just didn't buy it. I did get, there's that's happening, but not to the numbers they were talking about.
Okay. There was a poll that came out from officialdom, mind you, just last week that said that there was more people crossing the border last year in 2021 than all 3 previous years under the previous administration. So for sure, the numbers appear to be higher, but what you're saying is it's not perhaps the invasion force that some people were reporting. Is that accurate, the way you're saying, the way I'm recapping
also that they're being kept an eye on, and some of them might have even been shipped back unbeknownst to you, because it looks like the military, so the good military, so I'm thinking the alliance military, has been working to get that under control. That's what it looked like to me. Okay,
very good. Thank you for that last question. The next one, I believe, is from Andy Bunton. Will my finances improve soon? Okay, speaking of finances, we'll get to the Astro Woo finance for February, which is absolutely amazing, chock full of information for you. But he's asking about, okay, will my finances improve soon, and when and how will silver go? Thank you for both what you do, Andy Bunton. So let's talk about his finance. Maybe we can look in to him for February as well as silver. And on silver, I have a really, really big special for you guys in the next couple of minutes. So stay tuned for that as well.
Ooh, okay. So whoever's asking that is waiting for things to happen. So that's them waiting. Okay. And it's been painful sometimes, the wait with that card. And this is what they're waiting for. So she's abundant and she can afford luxury, or she can be good to herself, give herself treats. I mean, look at her. She's sitting on a cushion there. She's ruled by Venus. She looks like her clothes are expensive. She's a queen. So they're waiting for that kind of abundance, or certainly to be more comfortable in life. Okay. And they're looking at it as small things are happening around them right now, but this is the near future. So that's looking by spring, like you got a big breakthrough in where you're celebrating. Have a close look at that card. These guys are celebrating once you go through this little gateway, and that gateway is wide open. So yes, they're definitely going to improve, and even soon.
Okay, very good. And on that note, let me bring up our poster here for the Astro Woo Finance. This is a personal zodiacs guide for February of 2022. Just very quickly here, what some people are saying. So much valuable information. We already have the Insider Access Pass, and it has paid off hugely. Thank you so much. And I just finished the February Astro Woo Finance. The 3 of you make a great show. That's from Carmen. And the first quote there is from Anita. Janine, what are your thoughts again on this show? I know in the last episode you tooted Julie's horn here on her prowess as it pertains to astrology. But in the context of the questioner here today, and for many people who are like him, waiting, perhaps making the right choices, but not receiving the benefits from making those right choices along the last number of years, and maybe being in cognitive dissonance with the mainstream media who were telling them that everything was okay. What in the Astro Woo here can help them really understand how they're very, very close here to maybe materializing that abundance from themselves?
Well, it did a lot of the signs we went through. So Julie goes through all the astrological signs, and you can check what is your rising and what is your actual star sign. So, like, for instance, I was born May 1st, so I'm a Taurus, but my rising is in Aquarius. So everybody's got a rising and a star sign. Okay, so she goes through all of them and talks about what's the best approach for you and what can you expect in the month of February. We did one for January. Now the February one is out as well. I back it up with a little reading per sign. So it's like you can look into both your star sign and your rising. And now you have two little readings. And often it looked to me like there was a theme. Almost everybody was moving in a direction of more entrepreneurial, I thought, just as I remember. And everybody was being encouraged, not every single one, but most people were being encouraged to do things that they always wanted to do, as opposed to what they think would be the best way to make money. It felt like things were coming to people who were authentic and integral with their energies. And I think that's a theme for the world.
Yeah.
So that was something I noticed. Almost every sign that was some part of the advice, it looked like.
And actually, in our first show, I believe it was the Divine Feminine Oracle show, you were on that with both Julie and Sophie, and they spoke about, I believe, December 28 or 29, which was a critical date where universe was going to start to favor those who are in the spirituality, who are in alignment, as opposed to those who were looking for the old material world. So yes, the energies appear to have shifted there. That's really good. And guys, when we talk about these two signs here, this is a 2.5-hour reading, by the way. So there's a lot of information there. And in order for you to get the maximum out of that, it is important for you to know your rising sign and your sun sign. If you don't know that, you can get your star chart here, or your birth chart. I always get that wrong for some reason. Your birth chart here at maisonjupiter.com. There's a 10% discount code here. And you're looking for these personalized birth chart, again, to get you to receive the maximum out of these Astro Woo episodes. Now, the second portion of that gentleman's question, I believe, was where is silver going to go? Can you pull some cards here as well to maybe recap? As of today, the Federal Reserve appears to be weak here in Canada. Also, they said that they would raise rates, yet the Bank of Canada has stand still on the rates this morning, plunging the loonie downwards. So where is silver going to react to all of this?
So this is what's happening with silver now. As per usual, they're just repressing and not telling you things about what's really going on. And this looks to me like just the crash, right? Because we've got that judgment. It's like wake up call for everybody. That system's going down, and it's going down along with the deep state. I mean, they're all going down, you guys, and they're all connected. So it's going down right in front of our eyes. You know what I mean? As we speak, okay? It's the past. So in the past, all kinds of secretive things going on, things we weren't privy to, nobody told us. They were always repressing the values of silver, and that they've been keeping a whole bunch of secrets as to how valuable it is. So that's just, they've been doing that so they could hoard it. And meanwhile, keeping everybody's off the scent. Okay, right? But that's all going to change. So there's that gateway card again. This is between. So we're waiting for that all to change as things crumble. And then we go through that gateway. So that's the now. So that line is the now. Here's the near future. So as you step forward, so carefully stepping, like you'll see a daily movement to a lot more valuable, like daily. And it could take up to, this could be a 10-week period, this could be a 10-day period, but it'll go on this daily upward, and you're going to start seeing the true value of it. That's our wealth card there. So it's going to surprise you, even this is a surprise card, what it's actually worth. So
Wow.
it's what we've been saying. Like I'm not changing the story. It's exactly the same.
Right. And I love what you're saying about the daily also, because that coincides with the WebBot reports where he had predicted that we would see $1 a day moves, then $5 a day moves, and then $20 a day moves. And at every step, people would see, it's going to go back down. The cabal has it, the whatever has it. And it just would keep on going daily until we got to that maybe $600 silver. And then, of course, the unobtainium where something broke and you just can't get it even if you want it. Now, not there yet where you can get it. There's a few specials here today. I just had this amazing interview with Bill Holter and Andy Scheckman. This is the High Hope silver special here. You've got the Krugerrands and the American Eagles, amazing prices there. And also these collector gold coins, and go listen to that interview with Bill Holter to explain why those right now, and specifically in the context of a confiscation, could be very important to have inside of your toolkit. So you can find that at beyondmystic.net/high hope silver. That is the link for this particular special here today. I just brought it back down in the live chat. Now, speaking of silver, Janine and I are very excited to give away 2 100-ounce bars of silver to you, our amazing audience. So there's 2, don't go too fast. There's 2 contact forms here. I'm trying to do a giveaway for our Canadian audience of 1 silver bar. This is the Royal Canadian Mint 100-ounce silver bar. I don't know, it's over $3,000 in value to one of you lucky Canadians here. All you have to do, no purchase necessary. You must be 18 and older. But fill out this form here at beyondmystic.net/silver-Canada in order to enter to win this. We are going to be running this contest for the next 2 weeks, and we will be announcing the winners on February 9th. Now, before you lose your shit, just click on the description box below and you'll see the direct links to these 2 amazing giveaways. The next one, of course, is for our American audience. So same thing here. These are provided by Miles Franklin Precious Metals, and this is a 100-ounce PAMP Swiss silver bar. And again, no purchase necessary, must be 18 and older, and the winner will be announced on February 9th. So your mailing address so that we can mail this to you, and of course your email so that we can contact you and let you know that you've won this bar. So Janine, you and I have been talking about silver for some time. I keep giving away silver rounds and stuff like this. What do you feel about being able to give to our audience here a whole 200 ounces of amazing silver? I can see you're smiling already. You've been doing this all through Christmas, haven't you, also?
I like it. What about people from all over the rest of the world? Just out of curiosity, because we got an audience from all over the world. Are they not able to get in on it because of the sending?
In some particular countries, it's not feasible to do so. Yeah. So yes, for now, what I've been instructed here by Miles Franklin is to keep it to the US and to Canada for now, but that's not to say that we can't find ways around and do another giveaway for our world audience. Yeah. I hope we can do that. We did in the past, but some of them, we ended up sending them money instead because it was just more feasible to give them a price that way than to actually ship the silver because of the huge amounts of taxes they would have to pay at the other end and all of this stuff. So it just is what it is. So for now, yes, we have 2 contests going on. The first one is for the American audience, and of course, also here, our Canadian audience. And I forgot to mention, these are the specials, of course, this week, the High Hope Silver special with Bill Holter. But for our Canadian audience now, we also have this new affiliate program with mfbullion.ca, and there you can get the Philharmonics at $569 Canadian over spot. Amazing price there for the Beyond Mystic audience. All right, Janine, let's go to well, there you go. Cat Bear in our Insider Access Pass. Cat Bear, that's a nice nickname. She says, will our government, Janine, try to confiscate our physical silver bullion? We actually talked about that in the show today, and this is why we were talking about these specific gold coins, or here in Canada also pre-68, which is actual legal tender currency here in Canada. So Janine, will our governments here, when things break loose, try to confiscate our silver? What do the cards have to say?
Well, they can try, but these 2 cards indicate Us that we're sovereign. Is that how I say it?
Yeah, sovereign. Yeah.
Sovereign. Okay. And that we're actually a free people, because I believe we already are, but we're gonna like discover that for ourselves. All of this stuff is for our learning, so we understand how never to have this happen again. You guys know how I feel, right? You know what I think. So when this becomes known to everybody, okay, like they're not going to be able to, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
We don't have the wherewithal. They're barely existing. They're barely there. They're not. They're going to get rounded up publicly, those that are left. I really believe that.
And I remember having maybe not in this video here today, although we did touch upon that subject, but Bill had told me also that this is very different than earlier in the instances in the United States where the American government had seized gold. At that point, we trusted in our government. The situation has changed greatly since then, especially now. If you look at this narrative breakdown, our governments no longer have the moral authority they used to enjoy. So them trying to pull something off like this at this point, with all of the difficulty they have controlling their own narrative, would be a stretch. So at any rate, guys, not financial advice, but better there than in the burning dollar. Again, here, the inflation is through the roof, and the Federal Reserve is caught between a rock and a hard place. The question is, heads you lose, tails you win in terms of raising interest rate. They're caught between a rock and a hard place there. So you don't want to be in that system as they are imploding it as we speak. All right. Jules 929. I'm considering quitting my job. I wish you told me which one it is. Is this the right time? Jules 929 from the Discord channel.
Well, the universe knows what job it is, so that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody saying, JC, do you have a link for David Icke? Yes, I'll re-find that video for you as we go through here, and I'll put that back on the screen. Thank you, Desiree. That's a really, really great video for you guys to watch. So I will find that here as we go along.
Okay, so it's saying wait a little bit. Wait a little bit. For some reason, it's not quite time. Wait a little bit. This is slowly you are letting go of it. But for some reason, this is slow but sure. You will, over the next year, let it go. But it's not right this minute, okay? Waiting. And the advice also says wait. Wait. This card says wait. It'll be worth the wait. And I feel like even if you wait till, further into the year sometime, keep checking in, because there's going to be an obvious moment that it's perfect timing.
Okay, that's great advice. And that was for Jules. And now for the questioner on the screen, Desiree, let me bring this link back down here. This is on our Twitter here, so you can find the link to that interview. It was re-uploaded quite a few times, I guess with the permission of London Real. Anyways, this will be one link where you can find out you're looking for this poster. And yeah, most of these episodes are residing on BitChute, I believe, or on London Real's website. Janine, anything you want to add here? You're smirking.
Well, it's weird that they made them red in that, but whatever. It's brilliant, though, because the guy has been right all along. Everything, right down to the lizard queen, the guy's right.
Exactly.
Everything he said, no matter how wild it was, like the party substance that they create underground and stuff. It's all, he's been right about everything.
Yep. Somebody's asking again, where's the link? I just put it in the live chat. So this is what it looked like. It's in the live chat. Go click on it, or just type in this Rose Icke #6, the Vindication in BitChute, and you'll find it. Really easy. All right. Awesome. I like David Icke. Who says that? Somebody just said that in the tweet. Yeah. I love him too. Yeah. Wisdom, wealth, crypto. Yes. There you go. I love that quote. Okay. What do we do next, Janine? One more question maybe from the Discord channel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Laura B. is my husband going to be okay? He had cancer. He had 2 thingies and is sick now. We're seeing the reports from the actuaries of many people dying off right now. We talk about this in my interview today with Bill Holter, how the narrative is breaking down and how all of these numbers of maimed and disabled people and dying people are making the headlines here from all of these insurance companies around the world. So hopefully that is not the case for Laura B's father, but let's see what the cards have in store for her and him. And this is the link, guys, to this insurance company note jumping that the deaths are rising 40% as compared to the year previous. Absolutely incredible stats.
That's incredible. So he's fighting right now some illness, it looks like. So he's like really fighting. And obviously, whoever asked that question is really visualizing, and it looks like really working on visualizing that he is okay. Okay, got that 4 of Pentacles, so he's hanging on, right? So that's a hanging on card. It's interesting. So this card here is the near future. So he's going to get a reprieve from the fight. So he gets like where he's feeling a lot better. I'm thinking it's by May or between now and May. And it's really important that he gets a lot, like to live every single moment that he feels up to doing fun things, or even just things that he used to love to do. Or so plan when he does have that reprieve, because I get he will get so where he feels like, hey, I'm doing great, and he needs to really enjoy that and live like, because the whole lesson around this, it looks like, is he needs to live in the moment and enjoy what he does have here. So the universe doesn't wish to literally give him, a date on, when he's leaving or whatever. It's not wanting to handle the question that way. It just says he will get where he's feeling like he can do a lot more things for a while. So take advantage of that and really enjoy those times with him.
Difficult, man. And we're going to have more and more of those as we go on. And clearly, like, it's making mainstream news right now. And we're seeing insurance companies go absolutely ballistic with these numbers. At one point, do they all decide to stop paying off on life insurance policies? They're already in Europe refusing to pay out on deaths that are actually attributed to the thing, even by their own doctors and their own insurance investigators. They're saying that they won't pay because these people who took the thing were partaking in an experiment itself. So again, we've been saying that for a long while, but it's here now, and I'm questioning, well, when does it happen where the insurance companies don't even pay out on life policies? That's going to be one hell of a shit show and a wake-up call for the rest of humanity. Okay, somebody's asking in the Insider Access Pass Discord, is the Wisconsin state going to be, I don't find it now, just scrolled off my screen, going to remove their 10 electoral colleges vote? Now, you and I actually talked about this the other day, and I tweeted just to make sure people understood what was going on. I said, yes, this is a step in a right direction, but this resolution is simply being advanced to the next debate committee. It is not yet binding. So some people were reporting that Wisconsin had, in fact, withdrew their 10 electoral college votes. That is still not yet the case. And we've seen events of this over the last year where we had some momentum and then we had a bunch of noodle backbone politicians crash and burn, and these basically what do you call them, resolutions or bills being brought before the houses just kept crumbling on the order table. So right now, step in the right direction, but let's pull cards. Janine, will Wisconsin be able to go through the rest of their legislative process here until this resolution is in fact binding and sent back to the executive branch of their government? That is the question.
Okay, they got a lot of clout, and the possibility of that's really high. They got a lot of oomph behind them. and clout. So those are, and this is interesting. I feel like, I wonder if in the background it already has happened, and they're just playing out some scenario, because this almost looks to me like it's all a given.
That's interesting. That's interesting because, last year, right after the election, of course, all the polls were saying that it was the most secure thing in history, that the presidency was enjoying the highest polling ever. This is no longer the case. Everybody agrees that their polling is in the tank, and everybody is worried. So they don't have the moral standing anymore, which perhaps means that these people have more oomph to actually pass this through this time around. Go ahead.
And with that, the world in the past is actually saying it's already a given. Like I said, this is a possibility that's already happened, and they're waiting secretly, or they got a reason why, the timing. So they got something up their sleeve to bring it out to the public. And these two cards are present in the reading. That's my sort of like alliance, good guy, military, and that's my Mr. T in the white hats.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's part of the movie, and that's why El Trumpio there tweeted it.
Right.
I think we got a movie going on more. I think it's going to be shocking to people how much what they're seeing is a movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I keep seeing Joe Tam. GC, please see Patricia M's question. Okay, I'm seeing your question to ask her question, but I'm not seeing her question. There's over 8,000 people in the chat. So type me the question a few more times. Hopefully I can pick it up here, but it is moving quite rapidly for me. While I wait for that, hopefully we can get to Patricia M's question. And moderators, please, if you've seen it also, please type it in for me. Hopefully I will be able to pick it up here in the live chat. In the meantime, I wanted to bring this to your attention. You and I did this show a couple months ago on the possibility of a Project Blue Beam type of fake alien invasion to kind of change the channel and bring us in turmoil again. Now, what's happening in this week here, they're saying that the hoax in the East right now doesn't seem to be working, and that narrative is already breaking. So perhaps it's time now to start prepping the Blue Beam type of fake alien invasion. Is that really what's on the cards right now? Because clearly the war drums and that narrative doesn't seem to be sticking so far. Whoa.
Guess what? Both of these cards are my off-worlder type cards, and or you could say alien type. That one for sure, and this one's wise old galactic protectors of humankind. So maybe even a more evolved version of humans. Okay, and this is saying, it's right now, they're like literally, so this isn't false, this looks real. They're literally deciding when, and they're going to physically, literally come visiting soon. So I think before those guys can roll out the fake, the real guys show up.
I'm excited for that. And you know what? Again, it was in the data, and Cliff was saying in the spring, we'd be talking about that big time. So something is happening in the field. We have a message for her. Okay. Thank you, Alexa, Laura, and all the moderators for helping me pick up that question. And then we'll end the show on the PayPal tip jar. There's another important question there also from Dan Hula. So Dan, stand by. We'll be right back to you. And so now, does Patricia's son have a message for her?
So I'm not sure when he left us off the Earth plane, but he's still lingering around. So he didn't leave all the way because his soul's in conflict with the action. So he's sort of in a limbo, trying to get okay with. So I think his ego chose to do something that his higher self wasn't wasn't in entire agreement with. So we got he's got a conflict that he's working out, working it out. Okay. He seems like he was incredibly intuitive, and that actually caused him a lot of difficulty because he was so intuitive that it actually messed him up. He would pick up on things, wouldn't know where to put them. You know, when you're really intuitive, you need a spiritual outlet or a way to understand, and he might not have developed that just yet.
Just to be clear, Laura, once you repicked the question, she said the son. It's actually the nephew. So let's make sure we're talking about the right thing. So the nephew here, message still applies. The card knew what you were talking about, but just for the audience member, not the son, but in fact the nephew.
Yeah. Okay, and we've got the world. So the nephew is in limbo and waiting to leave properly because he's sorting out and evaluate. I guess they have to feel at peace with what happened. So he's in conflict. So there's conflict there. Then he will leave. It's going to take maybe in our time months. But so he's likely hanging around the family members, just trying to sort out what got him to that decision that he made. So all of his parts of himself didn't agree with it, but his ego got the better of him, and he chose that path. Yeah. So he's evaluating and trying to get okay with it before he leaves. So that's where he's sitting right now. So he's in a bit of a limbo, and people might feel him around pretty strong right now. So it's a good time if you got something to work out with his energy, just to spiritually talk to him, because he's trying to work stuff out right now.
And for those of you in the chat, if you feel so inclined also, please send energy to the nephew here so that this can be resolved for everybody's highest good. We really appreciate that. And thank you everyone for participating in that endeavor. Okay, last question for tonight. We're already at an hour in. Dan Hula, thank you so much. Will the complicit federal and provincial politicians be held accountable, i.e. jail? Please. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say about justice for our fellow. This is Canadian. He's talking about provincial. So provincial, maybe he's talking about Australia too. I'm not sure if they call them provinces in Australia, but definitely here in Canada. But let's just say worldwide, are these politicians going to pay the price here with some jail time? Okay,
this is interesting. This is the past. Lots of them already have. It's already been determined. So again, I'm going to repeat. I think we got a shadow government, you guys. And then this, so it's going to take time for all of that to come out. Some of them, they're still debating what to do with them. So maybe they were so on the fence, not entirely on the bad side or the good side. So they didn't really pick a side. So they're still deciding the fate of those guys. It looks like they're going to decide with the help of the wise ones, with the lactic helpers. Okay, so yeah, I think, and a whole bunch of them, by the way, that are being puppeted right now, made deals in the background. But the ones that needed to be dealt with in a big way, I think that's already happened in the past. So that's a yes.
Okay. Very good. And let me bring this up also tonight. We're seeing quite a drop in the crypto market. For a lot of people, this is an opportunity to buy. Cliff High was just on Greg Hunter's show on Sunday saying that he started buying crypto again just recently, and he hadn't bought any since 2015 or 16. And he was explaining the trading pattern of Bitcoin and the 5-fold to perhaps 10-fold move it will make after the current correction we are in now is over. So if those of you have not started yet, or if you have already started and you've taken the Panic to Own crash course, this is an important security update available for you now. And if you haven't started, please do go and check out that crash course and get started securely with your own wallets and your exchanges before we move into that panic phase, especially especially now given the jawboning from the Federal Reserve. We're getting closer and closer to all of that now. So let me bring that up on the screen so you can see what you're looking for. A couple of episodes here to look for. So first of all, the ATTRIBUTION Finance for February is up and running now for the pay-per-view. And these are the two crash courses. The initial one from November, and now this security update addendum is available for you guys. And keep in mind also, this ATTRIBUTION, this is another $400 added value to the Insider Access Pass inclusions of all of our series content. So at $240 here for the yearly pass, it's really advantageous. And at some point here, as Janine and I have explained, we are going to have to raise prices also to account for the raising costs at the other end of the business here. We hope to not have to do that, but we're pushing it as best as we can. So please do think about that if you like our content. And of course, that does, in fact, also support us. Now, in recognition of that support, don't forget the great Beyond Mystic Silver giveaway is in full force now. You can find the American form here on the Silver-USA and the Canadian form on the Silver-Canada. Those two links are in the description box below. And these, of course, are the specials for this evening afforded to the Beyond Mystic audience. And this is only on the beyondmystic.net/hi-ho silver page. So that link is also in the description box below. You can find Janine at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also Tarot by Janine. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe here on my third backup channel at 62,000 and growing strong. This was the Wednesday night edition of Tarot Readings by Janine. And who knows, with this truck convoy of the few fringe marginalized people, Janine and I might be back for a show later this week if we see some crazy events happening.
Yeah, they're meeting on Saturday there, I think. That's the big day.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned. It might get wacky over the weekend. All right, guys, I love you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.